Okay, hey guys, and welcome to our Straight Talk Zoom.
Uh,
Um, I am so excited for this evening. Me and Katelynn Morlino are going to be running it. In case you guys haven't been following, Kate's team is like massively on fire right now. They are going for Sapphire this month, and it's so exciting. So Alita and I were talking, and she was like, "I would be so amazing to have Kate on here." And so, well, we're going to go through just, at the end, we're going to go through some different questions for Kate to share, like what her team has been doing, how they picked up so much momentum, what that looks like. Mom, are you able to make it mute as they come in?
yeah,
Uh,
it just takes me 1 second.
oh, no, there's like a setting where you can have it automatically mute everyone who jumps
Oh, all
in.
right.
We can figure that out after. Um, but we thought that it would be really fun in the beginning to actually take you guys back to our beginning, to when Kate and I started doing this business together and sort of what that journey looked like, what my perspective was when she got started, what her perspective was when she got started. So we were like, you know what? There's a lot of people on here. I mean, we've been doing this, together for like 6, almost 7 years. And so it's what almost 7. Like in the summer, it'll be 7 years that Kate and I have been doing this business together, which is crazy. She was there. She signed up with me before I was even gold. Okay. And so we were like, there's a lot of people who don't know our story together and how we got to be doing this business. So we were like, let's take it back. We'll kind of share like both of our perspectives. So I'll go ahead and share mine first, and you can kind of tag team in too, Kate, if you want to, as I say something. And we didn't like correlate our stories or like go back down memory lane this morning. We just decided like we're just going to share from our perspectives and just see kind of where that lands us on our version of the story. So for me, I remember when I first got started, Kate and I, our moms did prenatal yoga together. That's how far back our journey goes. Okay. So like that's a long time. Okay. We were friends in utero. Okay. And so then in fourth grade, no, seventh grade, we started going to school together. And from seventh to 12th grade, we were in the same really tiny Christian high school that actually Amber Rosny went to as well. Super tiny, like 30 people in our graduating class. So not a lot of people. Okay. And we were really close friends. We did pretty much all the things together, loved each other very much. And then when we graduated, she stayed in Jersey. I went to school in Virginia, and we just lost touch, right? Like nothing bad happened. It's just like we just went our separate ways. And then she had Millie and she became a mom. And I remember being on Facebook, and her mom had a really bad car accident right after Millie was born. And I remember seeing that on Facebook, and I reached out to her and I was just like, "Hey, Kate, like I know we haven't talked in a long time, but like I'm praying for your mom. Is everything okay? What's going on?" And I remember very specifically, and I don't even know if you remember this, Kate, because I know you were in such a blur with everything with your mom, but
Yeah.
I remember when I reached out, I was very, very specific to share vulnerable things about myself and my postpartum journey with Parker, because I felt like that was really important. And I was checking in. I was like, how are you actually doing? Like, I know all of this is going on with your mom. I said, I remember I struggled with postpartum after I had my first baby. Hormones were really hard, emotions were really hard. Like, as your friend, I know we haven't talked in a long time, but like, I just want to make sure, how are you doing? Do you remember that, Kate?
I do. Yeah, I do. And I was
And
in a
so,
bad place.
yeah, she was not in a good
It
place.
was
So
bad.
it was like I was reaching out, and I want you guys to hear this because this is really, really important. I reconnected with her from a solely like friend basis of I want to check in, and I'm going to be vulnerable with you about where I was when I had a baby. And I just want to see how you're doing. I was not messaging her to try to make a sale. I was not messaging her because I wanted her to be on my team. I wasn't messaging her for any of those other things. It was as I want to reconnect with you as a friend because I care about you and I really want to see genuinely how you are doing. Now, Plexus ended up coming up, but that was not why I reached out to her. And it wasn't until a little while later that she started seeing my posts, and I'll let you kind of take over from there.
Yeah. So I had Millie in April. My mom got into the accident 10 days after I had Millie, and almost died. She was in the ICU for 6 days, and she went to a rehab center for 67 days. And I had postpartum depression and anxiety on like day 5 of like after birth. So things were already heading south, and then that happened, and that just made it that much worse. So I think Megan had reached out for Mother's Day and like was just checking in, see how it was going. I think I had even asked Megan at one point like where I could get like kinesiology tape, because I knew Megan used it all the time and my mom needed it. And I was like, wait, Megan will know. Like I had literally hadn't talked to her in years, but I'm like, no, wait, she'll know. I'll ask her.
I remember you asking me that.
Yeah. And so I had postpartum and everything really bad. And then I saw Megan, I can literally like, I can still see the video of you in your Florida house, like in the, like the wall was like, I can tell you where the wall was and the couch was. And like, it's just funny. And she was like reading from a piece of paper on what this pink drink was doing. And I was just like, I don't know. It just like hit different. Like, I was like, first off, why is she live? Because I've never seen Megan go live on Facebook ever. So that was like, that kind of caught my eye, and I was like, all right, what does she have to say? And it really like piqued my interest, but I had tried so much stuff for my RA. I had like cut out red meat. I had cut out sugar. I had cut out gluten. I had cut out all the things. I had tried other supplements, vitamins. I tried Spark. If anybody knows what that was, because I literally was grasping straws because I felt terrible. And I was like, at this point, I don't even care what's in it. Can it help me? Like, I just felt like I was rock bottom. So that ended up being like June. I think I joined June 19th is when I joined. And I know I had the link for like a couple days because I just literally was like so in my head. Like I didn't even take 5 minutes just to get on it. And I remember Megan messaging me to like follow up. And I was like, no, like I do want to do it. I just haven't taken 5 seconds to do it. And I was actually sitting in Eric's truck when I did it. But I do remember Megan and I talk about this often, that when I asked her about it, she literally replied, I'm so glad you've decided to do Plexus.
Yeah. And that's not actually what she said to me. Like she said, hey, I've been drinking this Spark drink. Can you tell me more about your pink drink? And that's literally how I replied. So excited you decided to try Plexus, because I will tell you, I was being coachable. Jen Leith had just run a training about how to run a conversation and close a sale. And that's how she said to reply. So I had those notes saved in my phone and I copied and pasted and I replied. I was so nervous. I was like, this sounds insane and this does not work, but it worked for her and it worked for Kristen, 2 of my emeralds. Okay. So there's something to it. And I was so scared and I was so nervous. And when I said that to you, what was your thought, Kate?
I was just going with it. Like I never second guessed any of it. I was just like, yeah, I mean, that's what I messaged you for. So yeah, we're going to try it. Like it was never like, I haven't decided yet. Like I was like, no, I'm coming to you asking you questions because I need something. So I never even hesitated.
Yeah.
At all.
And then she was very adamant that she was not going to do the business. Hang on, let me back up for a second about the Mother's Day messages. And I told my elite coaching group this too. When I first started this business, that first Mother's Day, I sat down and I spent about 2 hours messaging moms and checking in on them. Katelynn was part of those Happy Mother's Day messages. And to this day, and see, it was a genuine, it wasn't just like a generic Happy Mother's Day, right? It was like specific to her. But to this day, almost every single person on my Facebook that I was friends with then when I started, who has since joined me as a customer or a business builder, got a Happy Mother's Day message. And that's how our conversation started. Now, we've probably had a bazillion conversations in between then with other people and throughout the years, but that's where it started. I started by messaging tons and tons of people, checking in on them, getting conversations going, reconnecting with people. If you are not networking and connecting with people, you are missing out. You actually have an opportunity with Mother's Day just passing that you can still message people and say, hey, I hope you had a wonderful Mother's Day. What did you do to celebrate? Or what was your favorite part? Or whatever it is, to engage in conversation with them, because that's key. I said, I'm going all in. And Phil said, okay, then you better send some messages. And I said, I don't really want to. And he said, do you want to do this business or not? And so we took the kids out for 2 hours. And that's what I did on my very first Mother's Day. But you know what? We also went Emerald in a year. So I would say it was worth it. Okay. I just had to add that in. Am I delayed? Am I back? That was really weird.
You're good.
Okay. It was just me. Okay. So Kate did not want to do the business. Do you want to tell them why?
So I told her 3 different times. Well, on the 3rd time, I finally asked questions. 3 different times that I didn't want to do it because I had just had a baby. She was 3 months old. I was working at the hair salon full time. And I was like, I have enough. My mom obviously was still in the hospital at this point, or at the rehab center. I was like, I've got a full plate. I don't want to do it. Like, we're not even talking about this.
And I said, okay. But I remember I was actually visiting my mom when you did a first Facebook post and you tagged me in it. And I was so stinking excited because I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, share Facebook about this. I was freaking out because Kate was one of those people that I knew if she did this, she was going to the top, right? She just has that personality. She's a workhorse. She knows a lot of people. She's loved by so many. And I was like, gosh, if she would start doing this with me, my business would like really take off. This would be amazing. And of course, I'm like, well, you know, she told us no, blah, 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 all the different things.
Mm-hmm.
She tagged me in a shout out post on Facebook about how much she was loving it. And I was like, oh my gosh. So then Phil and I naturally were like, well, that's our window. Like, that's our ticket in. She's sharing about it. And she found her first 3 people, you know, because people in the salon started noticing that she was feeling better naturally.
Yeah.
And then it was on a double silver bonus month because back then you used to only get $175 when you signed up 3 people. And so it was a double bonus month. And when you got your first paycheck, what did you say to me?
I literally called her. I was like, is this legal? Because the emails are really, really, really weird back then. And they would say, like, do not reply, funds waiting. And I was like, that doesn't sound legal. Is this legal? Why does this say this? She was like, yeah, this totally legal. And I was like, this is a lot of freaking money for not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
So then I was like, well, and I am like very entrepreneurial that like, I love money. Like, I love to make money. It's a great tool. So then I was like, what if I tried? Like, what if I tried? And then that's when they were like, okay, this is what you're going to do.
Let's go. And then she went gold super, super fast.
Mm-hmm.
And that is like when our business really started taking off. Like, I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for Katelynn in the beginning. Like, we all have those people who kind of helped us jumpstart our business. Like, Katelynn was that person for me, and it helped me to believe even more that, like, oh my gosh, I think I could actually do this because I have people like Katelynn on my team. Like, you want to sign up people who are better than you, right? And that's her. And so I was like on cloud 9, so excited that this was happening. And she went gold really fast. And then tell them about how you felt
And
like
then
gold for forever. That, like, true story. I remember she came to leaders retreat with me as my guest for the first one. Phil got kicked to the curb and Kate came instead. And we have a long history of that. Kicking
Yes.
Phil to the curb so somebody else can come to an event.
Yep.
And me, her, and Alita sat down and we had like breakfast or lunch or something together.
Yep.
It was at the Gaylord. And she was like, I just don't know what's wrong. I'm going to be gold for forever.
Guys, it was serious though. Like, I went with Megan. Millie was only what at that point, 6 months old. I took Millie with me. I like had no idea what I was doing in this business. Just packed up my baby and got on a plane. And I literally felt I'm going to be gold forever. Like there was no end in sight. I fretted about it. I literally felt stucker than stuck. There was no way out. And I remember Alita just laughing at me, and she'll still brings it up to this day. Like, you were going to be gold forever. Cause that's how it felt. It felt awful. And I think that was what, October. And then I just started to I started to realize that I was not, and like, even now, like reflecting back over all of the years, that I was so obsessed with the points in my back office, and like the points aren't moving, the points aren't moving, the points aren't moving, the points aren't moving. Like the points literally weren't moving, but I had gotten to gold almost by myself. I didn't have like active builders. So what I actually needed to do was make the shift from like me doing all of the things, and to stop worrying about the points and start worrying about the people and getting people to start building with me. So I kind of had to make that leadership shift of doing it all by myself. And then like, okay, you don't need to recruit, because I think I had recruited like 12 people in a month. You don't need to do that all the time. Just start duplicating. And when I kind of made that shift mentally of stop worrying about the points and just start doing the work and helping other people, then I signed up Sharon in January. So there's that.
Love it. I love it. Okay. So we just thought that would be really fun to kind of go through and share like our version of the story, because like we said, a lot of you guys don't know that, because it's been so long, 7 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So Kate, what would you say? So Kate's been Emerald for 4 years, like solid Emerald, you guys. Okay. What do you think has kept you at Emerald for the last 4 years? Now, Emerald's an amazing rank and we love it, but we all know that Katelyn's meant to be Diamond, right? So it's like sometimes you hit these ranks that you're like are amazing and they're great, but like Alita talked about this morning, like you get to the next level when you're tired of where you're at, right? And Kate is tired of where she's at, and they're going for Sapphire this month.
Yes. So I think, well, I'll even say to people now, like when they talk about what they want, like, oh, I want to be a jewel. I'm like, no, you want to be a diamond. Like, I don't even want to hear that you want to be an emerald, you want to be a diamond. Because I think at the very beginning of we were all so new that I'm gonna just turn this so I can stand up. We were all so new that it was like emerald was the ticket for us. Like, we want to be 6-figure earners, we want the car, we want to go to Hawaii, we want all these things, and it was like emerald, that was so ingrained in our brains, because to us that was a big, I mean, it is a big deal, but back then, like, that was the big deal. And so I think that, not that I ever thought I would be diamond, but I never obsessed over it. Emerald was the obsession. And it's really, really good money. That's way more money than I had ever made. I can remember saying to Eric, like, I was a hairdresser, you guys, like, hairdressers make really good money, but we have to work really hard for the money that we make. And I remember when I got my first year, like as an emerald pay, and then found out what I had to pay in taxes. I said to my husband, I was like, why are they taking all my money? Because I had never made that much money to realize how much they actually like took. That's when I became obsessed with taxes and keeping my money, but that's a whole nother Zoom. But it was like, I was making really good money. Like, we were comfortable. It felt good. I, had the lifestyle bonus. We got the trips. Like, there was this level of comfort, even subconsciously, that like I had done it. And then I think a lot of it was the personal growth that had to be done to lead an Emerald team, to keep going, overcoming a lot of that, the mental trash, the mental junk, that I now have learned that's not going to let me get to Sapphire or Diamond if I just stayed in that place. Like, there is a level of growth that has to happen to get you through the ranks of growth. and guys, like, I hate to say it too, even if you do it really fast, like it catches up with you. Like, you have to do the growth. You don't just get to sign up 3 rock stars and then show up as a diamond and think it's going to be great. Like, it's all like behind you. Turn around, it's behind you. You still have to do the leadership growth. So I think that was a big part of it too, that what I'm seeing now, and it's taken me 4 years, that there's a lot of things that I have to let go of, or I need to see the other side of, or I need to change. And I think it too, like a big two is just the depth of my belief. Like, I believe I can do it. I know that I'm meant to be a diamond. Like, I would have never said anything different, but the depth of the belief and that there's no other option, there's no other way out. I am actually in control of how this goes. I think that's pretty much what has kept me here.
I love it. Okay, so what would you say really shifted last month that got your team into momentum? Because in March, your team with the Apple Watches, your team did not add nearly as many people as they did in April. So like, you've been having the opposite of most people. Most people had an explosive March. Your team had an explosive April, and you're also having an explosive May. Like, it's carrying on. So like, what happened? What things shifted mentally for you that got your team into such high momentum last month?
Well, I mean, I think it's a lot of things that are coming together at the right time. A lot of personal growth. I have 2 different elite groups going right now. So I have double the amount of people hyper focused. So that's been a game changer for sure. The level of belief is up for sure. And just getting into more that, like, I don't want to say like a just do it type of thing, but there's a lot less excuses across the team, like team wide, of just like, pick the phone up, make the phone call, do the follow up, do the reach out. And our energy is undeniably higher than it's been in years. Like, to the point where, like, if somebody gets on a call and they're not in the right energy, somebody's telling them about it. Like, don't call anybody. What is your problem? Like, fix your energy, no low energy. Like, everybody's identifying it. So it's definitely staying way higher than it has been in years. So that is all the difference, because I mean, it's like the belief and the energy run together, right? Like, I use this example all the time. So I can remember I had this very specific memory of one of my basketball games, and it was my highest scoring game ever. And it was, my belief in that game was so high, I literally could have closed my eyes and thrown the ball over my shoulder and it would have gone in. That's what starts to happen in your business with your belief, that it's like, it doesn't matter who I talk to, it doesn't matter who I meet, they're gonna order, they're gonna place an order, they're gonna sign up, they're gonna, like, people are just gonna start messaging me. And it has, all that changes is your energy and your mindset around it. And I think that has now spread far enough into my team, down and wide. And that's such a heavy focus for us. And the consistency is, as far as the physical work, consistency is making a huge difference. And boldness, like, just kind of knowing that everybody wants to do this and going into the conversation that way. Like, there's always an objection. Okay. Don't think that there's always an objection. And if you just handle the objection, then they have nothing else to say but yes. Like, I want them to tell me their objection, because then once I handle it, then there's nothing else. Like, now we're moving on. And getting on the phone right away and literally getting people to say, like I'll say like, Megan, are you like, is earning some extra cash something that you're really interested in? Like, would you be good with that? And she's like, oh yeah, that'd be good. I'd be like, okay, so you want to make some extra money? Yeah, that would be good. Okay, great. Like, there's nothing left to do now except tell you what to do because you just gave me like a free pass. So all I tell my girls, all I'm gonna do is get her to say that she wants to make extra money, and then you know what to do. Like then it's like it's moving on, like events or shout out wherever they are in the onboarding. But it's that passion and that excitement, and yeah, just know that the objection is going to come. That's
Yeah. And you guys are doing it with speed too. Like I want you to
yeah,
like there's a high level of belief, and then they're getting people on the phone right away,
yeah,
and they're getting them to say yes to the things they want them to say yes to because they're so confident in that. And then right from there, it's okay, we're going to do a shout out. We're going to do a chat party. We're going to do a sip and see. We're going to do this, this,
Yep.
this. There's no like lollygagging. And some of you are like, I don't understand why nobody wants to make money. Well, are you having conversations? Are you getting on the phone with them? Are you doing what Katelynn just said? If you're not, that's probably why people are not wanting to earn money and to do the business, right? It's about your level of belief with it, but then jumping into action in a very tangible way of getting those people on the phone. You can handle the objections even faster if you are on the phone with people. This
yeah.
business loves speed. So if you want to increase speed, get people on the phone. If you're not doing phone calls with your people, you are dragging out the process, and then you're letting people get in their head for longer than they need to. And your probability of getting a yes goes down every single day from when they order that you are not getting those people on the phone. Right? They're capitalizing on it. That's why they signed up so many people last month, and they are on a roll this month with their new ads because this is what they're doing. They're getting people to share right away when their excitement level is at an all-time high.
And just two things to that. So had I said to Megan, like, oh, you're interested in making money, and she was like, yeah, I mean, and I will say, okay, you want to make extra money, you're just nervous. And they'll either say, yeah, or they'll say, no, I'm not nervous, but they'll tell me what the objection is. I just don't know who would do this with me, or I don't think anybody would want to do. Okay. Oh my gosh, we're not even going to worry about that. Like I can tell you, and I literally handle the objection. I'm like, so if I can help you handle that, then you want to make extra money. And they're like, well, yeah. I'm like, okay, great. And the other thing is too, like I was on a coaching call today, like a check-in call with two of my girls, and they're like, well, so and so wants to do the business, but she wants to get her husband on the call because he wants to do it too. And I said, okay. I was like, is he signed up underneath of her? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, well, that's the first thing we need to do before she gets on a call. Get her husband to sign up so we know that they're serious. And they're like, okay. And I was like, is she working right now? And they're like, no, she's home with the baby. I'm like, oh, add her into this call right now. Call her. And they're like, what? I'm like, we don't have time for this. Call her. If she answers, great. If she doesn't, then message her and say, hey, that wasn't a butt dial. I tried to call you. Like it's that urgency of like, no, we don't have time for this. We're on the phone anyway. Call the girl. Add her to the chat. We're on.
Yeah. So many times you guys hem and haw and you're like, I don't know if it's a good time. I got to schedule it on my calendar. I don't think I can just call them. Yes, you absolutely can. You can just call people. And you know what? A lot of times they'll be so surprised that they'll just pick up the phone. And then you've got their attention. Even if it's only for 5 minutes, you can get done what you need to get done. What is your level of urgency? If you have big goals, then you have to have a high level of urgency. Katelynn's team's going for Sapphire this month. So many of the girls on her team, they have big goals and they all have a high level of urgency, which is why things are getting done. So, and with that, we are out of time. So Kate, do you have anything else that you want to add in?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Just have a sense of urgency in what you're doing. Be bold about it. Be confident, and have good energy.
Yes.
That's all.
You can think your way to diamond. As Katelynn once thought that you couldn't, she now realizes that you can. And your positive energy is going to feed other people's positive energy, and it's just going to keep taking off. Stay close to the fire, right? Who are the people who are on fire right now, who are adding a lot of people? Who are those people whose teams are exploding? Stay close to the fire because it is contagious, right? Who you surround yourself with really matters. So we love you guys. We hope that you enjoyed Straight Talk tonight, and we will see you guys next Tuesday.
Bye, guys.